Ladies and gentlemen, life is a series of opportunities wrapped in decisions. Often we're presented with moments that have the potential to change everything, but only if we respond wisely. One of those moments is when someone from your past, a friend, a colleague, or perhaps an old partner, reaches out to you. Now, this contact could be a bridge to growth, understanding, or even closure. But it could also be a trap, pulling you back into patterns that you've worked hard to leave behind. Today, I'm here to share 6 key points to ensure you don't make the mistake that could derail your progress when he contacts you. When someone reaches out unexpectedly, especially from your past, the initial wave of emotion can be overwhelming. It might be joy, anger, regret, or even nostalgia, depending on the relationship and history you share. While emotions are natural and powerful, they can also be misleading. They can push you to react impulsively, saying or doing something you might later regret. The key to handling such situations wisely is to pause, breathe, and process what you're feeling before making any moves. Reacting emotionally is the easiest mistake to make and the most dangerous. When emotions take over, they can cloud your judgment. Let's imagine, for instance, someone you had a falling out with suddenly reaches out. If your initial reaction is anger, you might lash out with words that escalate the situation or reopen old wounds. On the other hand, if your immediate emotion is excitement, you might forgive too quickly, overlooking the reasons why the relationship ended in the first place. Both scenarios can lead to outcomes that don't serve your growth or peace. The first step in avoiding an emotional reaction is to understand that not every contact demands an immediate response. In today's fast-paced world, where texts and calls seem to require instant replies, it's easy to feel pressured to respond right away. But remember, urgency is often self-imposed. You have the power to take a step back and give yourself the time to reflect. This pause is not a sign of weakness or avoidance, it's a demonstration of strength and self-control. During this pause, ask yourself a few critical questions. Why is this person reaching out now? What do they want? And how does it align with your current life and goals? Equally important, what do you want out of this interaction? By reflecting on these questions, you're shifting your response from an emotional one to an intentional one. You're no longer reacting, you're deciding. It's also essential to recognize the role of triggers. Certain people or situations have the power to stir up strong feelings because they remind us of unresolved issues or past pain. If you're not careful, these triggers can pull you back into old patterns of thinking or behavior. For example, if this person was someone who let you down, their contact might reignite feelings of betrayal or resentment. But instead of reacting to those feelings, take a moment to observe them. Acknowledge what you're feeling without letting it dictate your actions. One powerful way to manage emotional responses is to separate fact from story. Often our minds create elaborate narratives around someone's actions or intentions. If someone contacts you after years of silence, you might immediately think, they must want something from me. Or they probably regret how they treated me. These stories might be true or they might not. By focusing on the facts, what was said or done, you can avoid jumping to conclusions fueled by emotion. Another important aspect of not reacting emotionally is maintaining your sense of self-worth. Sometimes emotions like guilt or longing can make you compromise your boundaries. You might feel obligated to respond kindly or forgive too quickly because you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. But remember, your feelings matter just as much. Don't let emotional pressure push you into decisions that go against your best interests. It's also helpful to have a support system, trusted friends or mentors who can provide perspective. When you're caught in the swirl of emotions, talking to someone who knows you well can offer clarity. They can help you see the situation objectively and remind you of the progress you've made since that person was last in your life. Ultimately, responding rather than reacting is about reclaiming your power. When you act from a place of calm and clarity, you're in control of the outcome. You're not letting someone else's actions dictate your behavior. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means channeling them in a way that serves your growth and peace. In the end, the goal is to make decisions that align with the life you're building. Reacting emotionally might feel satisfying in the moment, but it often leads to regret. Responding with thoughtfulness and intention, on the other hand, ensures that every interaction you engage in contributes to your journey forward. So the next time someone from your past contacts you, take a deep breath, pause, and choose your response with care. That single moment of restraint can make all the difference. You said when someone from your past reaches out, the instinct might be to focus on the present interaction or what it could mean for the future. However, before taking any steps forward, it's vital to pause and assess the past. The history you share with this person holds the key to understanding the true nature of their contact and how you should proceed. Taking a thoughtful look at the past isn't about dwelling on what's already happened. It's about learning from it and ensuring that you don't repeat mistakes or miss valuable lessons. The past is a rich source of information. It provides clarity about the dynamics of the relationship and how it influenced your life. Ask yourself, what role did this person play in your life? Was it a relationship built on mutual respect, trust, and growth? Or was it one filled with challenges, misunderstandings, or even toxicity? Being honest about the nature of the past relationship helps you make informed decisions about how to respond to their reappearance. Sometimes nostalgia can distort our view of the past. You might remember the good times and overlook the difficult ones. This selective memory can lead to reopening doors that were closed for good reason. For instance, a friend who consistently let you down or a partner who didn't treat you with respect might try to reconnect with promises of change. While people can grow and improve, it's important to evaluate whether their actions align with their words. The past can often serve as a reliable predictor of behavior, especially if there's a pattern of certain actions or decisions. At the same time, assessing the past requires introspection about your own role in the relationship. Relationships are rarely one-sided, and it's possible that you contributed to the dynamic in ways you may not have realized. Reflecting on your own actions, choices, and feelings from that time can help you approach the present situation with greater self-awareness. Were there moments where you ignored red flags or compromised your boundaries? Did you hold on to the relationship longer than you should have because of fear or comfort? Understanding these aspects can prevent you from repeating the same patterns. One critical aspect of assessing the past is identifying lessons learned. Every relationship, no matter how positive or negative, teaches us something. It might be a lesson about setting boundaries, recognizing your worth, or understanding what you truly value in a connection. When you take the time to evaluate what the past taught you, you're better equipped to navigate the present with wisdom and intention. It's also essential to evaluate how the relationship's end affected you. Some endings are mutual and amicable, while others can leave deep scars. If the relationship ended on bad terms, consider whether those wounds have truly healed. If they haven't, engaging with this person again could reopen old pain or create unnecessary emotional turmoil. Healing from the past is a process, and sometimes the best way to protect your progress is to keep certain doors closed. In assessing the past, you might also uncover unresolved emotions. Perhaps there's lingering resentment, regret, or even affection that you haven't fully processed. Acknowledging these emotions is crucial, as they can influence how you respond to the present situation. Suppressing feelings doesn't make them disappear, it only makes them harder to deal with when they inevitably resurface. Being honest with yourself about what you feel and why allows you to approach the situation with clarity and emotional balance. Another important consideration is whether the relationship added value to your life or drained it. Did this person encourage you, challenge you to grow, and support your aspirations? Or were they a source of negativity, doubt, or stress? The answer to this question can guide you in deciding whether it's worth re-engaging with them. Relationships should contribute to your well-being, not detract from it. Finally, remember that assessing the past doesn't mean you're holding a grudge or refusing to forgive. Forgiveness is a powerful tool for your own peace, but it doesn't mean you have to invite someone back into your life. Forgiveness allows you to let go of resentment and move forward without bitterness, but trust and access to your life must still be earned. Taking the time to assess the past helps you approach the situation with wisdom and intention. It ensures that you're not simply reacting to the moment, but making decisions that align with your values and goals. By understanding the history, the dynamics, and the lessons of the past, you empower yourself to respond in a way that serves your growth and protects your peace. It's a powerful step toward building a life filled with meaningful, healthy connections. When someone reaches out to reconnect, it can be a moment filled with possibility. But it also comes with a critical responsibility, staying true to your boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines you draw to protect your well-being, emotional health, and sense of self-worth. They define what you will and won't tolerate, ensuring that your relationships are healthy and balanced. When someone re-enters your life, especially from the past, it can be tempting to loosen or even abandon those boundaries in an effort to accommodate them. However, This is one of the most significant mistakes you can make. Boundaries are not walls, they're guidelines that reflect your values and priorities. They show others how to treat you and, just as importantly, remind you of what you deserve. When you compromise these boundaries, you risk allowing behavior or dynamics into your life that don't align with your growth. This can undo the progress you've made and lead to a cycle of frustration and disappointment. One of the most common challenges when reconnecting with someone is the pressure to please. You might feel obligated to make them feel comfortable or welcome, especially if they approach you with kindness or vulnerability. While it's important to be respectful, accommodating someone else should never come at the expense of your own well-being. For instance, if this person has a history of overstepping your boundaries or disregarding your needs, giving them too much access to your time or energy can lead to unnecessary stress. It's not selfish to prioritize yourself, it's essential. It's important to clearly communicate your boundaries early on. People cannot respect what they do not know. If this person begins to ask for more than you're willing to give, whether it's your time, emotional energy, or even physical presence, it's your responsibility to articulate your limits. This might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're worried about offending them. However, healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, and those who genuinely care about you will appreciate your honesty. Staying true to your boundaries also means recognizing and resisting manipulation. Sometimes people from the past may attempt to guilt or pressure you into doing things their way. They might remind you of old times or appeal to your sense of loyalty to make you bend to their will. In these moments, it's crucial to remain grounded in your values. Remember why you set those boundaries in the first place. They are there to protect you, not to be negotiated or ignored. Another challenge arises when the person reaching out claims they've changed. Growth and change are possible, but they are proven through consistent actions, not words. If someone says they've changed but continues to behave in ways that test your boundaries, take it as a sign that their intentions may not align with their promises. Trust is earned over time, and allowing someone back into your life doesn't mean giving them unrestricted access immediately. Be cautious and observant. Maintaining your boundaries doesn't just protect you from others, it also reinforces your self-respect. Each time you honor your limits, you send a message to yourself that you are worthy of care and respect. This internal validation is vital because it builds your confidence and strengthens your ability to stand firm in future situations. Conversely, every time you compromise a boundary, you risk undermining that sense of self-worth, leading to feelings of resentment and frustration. Boundaries are also a way to maintain balance in your life. Your time and energy are finite resources, and every interaction should add value rather than drain you. Reconnecting with someone from your past might seem exciting or meaningful, but if it begins to demand too much of you or pulls you away from your goals and priorities, it's a clear sign that your boundaries are being compromised. Stay mindful of how much you're giving and ensure it doesn't disrupt the life you've worked hard to build. There's also the matter of consistency. Boundaries are not a one-time declaration, they are ongoing commitments. You may need to remind someone of your limits or enforce them multiple times. This is especially true if the person isn't accustomed to respecting boundaries. Consistency is key. If you waver or allow exceptions, you risk sending mixed signals, which can make it harder to maintain those boundaries in the long run. Ultimately, staying true to your boundaries is an act of self-love. It's a way of honoring the progress you've made, the lessons you've learned, and the person you're becoming. When someone from your past contacts you, it's an opportunity to demonstrate how much you value yourself. By standing firm in your boundaries, you ensure that every relationship in your life, old or new, supports your growth, peace, and happiness. Remember, boundaries are not about keeping others out, they're about keeping your well-being intact. When you respect your limits, you create space for relationships that are truly enriching and fulfilling. Staying true to your boundaries is not just a choice, it's a necessity for a life of balance, respect, and harmony. When someone reaches out to reconnect, it's natural to feel a mix of curiosity, excitement, and perhaps even caution. Their contact can seem like a gesture of goodwill, a desire for reconciliation, or an opportunity for something new. However, before you open the door to your life, it's essential to look for genuine intent behind their actions. Understanding why someone is reaching out is critical to deciding how much time, energy, and trust you should invest in the interaction. Intent is the foundation of any action. Whether the contact is casual or significant, people act based on their motivations. Genuine intent comes from a place of honesty, respect, and care. It's the kind of intent that aligns with your values and contributes positively to your life. However, not everyone who reaches out does so with pure intentions. Some people may be motivated by convenience, selfish needs, or unresolved issues that have little to do with your well-being. Recognizing the difference between genuine intent and ulterior motives is a skill that can save you from unnecessary complications. To uncover someone's true intent, it's important to pay attention to their approach. How did they reach out? Was their message thoughtful, respectful, and clear, or did it feel rushed, vague, or opportunistic? A genuine person usually takes the time to express their intentions with clarity. They acknowledge the past, express their reasons for contacting you, and show an understanding of your perspective. On the other hand, someone with questionable motives might avoid specifics, act overly familiar, or try to rush you into engagement without giving you time to think. Actions also reveal far more than words. While someone might say they want to reconnect for meaningful reasons, their behavior will ultimately tell the real story. Are they consistent in their communication? Do they follow through on what they say? For example, if someone claims they've changed or grown, do their actions align with those claims? Genuine intent is demonstrated through effort, consistency, and respect for your boundaries. Another important factor is timing. Ask yourself why this person is reaching out now. Timing can sometimes reveal the motivations behind their contact. Did they suddenly remember you because they're in need of something, perhaps support, advice, or a favor? Or have they reached out because they've genuinely reflected on your relationship and feel it's time to rebuild the connection? While the timing itself isn't always suspect, it's worth considering whether their contact aligns with a significant event in their life, like a challenge, success, or change in circumstances. Looking for genuine intent also involves paying attention to the past. How did this person treat you in previous interactions? Was your relationship built on trust, respect, and mutual support? Or was it marked by manipulation, neglect, or selfishness? If someone has a history of putting their own needs above yours or taking advantage of your kindness, their contact might not be as sincere as it seems. People can change, but change is proven through actions, not promises. It's equally important to trust your intuition. Sometimes you can sense when something doesn't feel right, even if the words and actions seem aligned on the surface. Your gut often picks up on subtle cues that your conscious mind might overlook. If something about their contact feels off or insincere, take a moment to reflect on why you feel that way. Your intuition can be a valuable tool in assessing intent. Genuine intent also respects your boundaries. When someone reaches out, a clear sign of their sincerity is how they respond to your limits. Do they respect your time and space? Are they willing to engage on your terms rather than imposing their own expectations? Someone with genuine intent understands that relationships, whether personal or professional, require mutual respect and effort. They won't push, guilt, or manipulate you into responding faster than you're comfortable with. Additionally, consider whether their contact adds value to your life. Genuine intent seeks to enrich, not disrupt. This doesn't mean every interaction needs to lead to a significant outcome, but it should at least feel positive and purposeful. If their contact feels draining, confusing, or one-sided, it might be worth questioning their motivations. Finally, remember that uncovering genuine intent takes time. You don't need to make a decision about the relationship immediately. Give yourself the space to observe, reflect, and assess how their actions align with their words. A truly genuine person will understand and respect this process. They won't demand immediate trust or a swift return to closeness. Instead, they'll be patient and willing to prove their intentions over time. Looking for genuine intent is about protecting your peace and ensuring that the people you allow into your life are there for the right reasons. It's not about being overly skeptical or distrustful, it's about being discerning. When you take the time to evaluate someone's motivations, you empower yourself to make decisions that align with your values and goals. Genuine connections are built on honesty, respect, and mutual effort. And those are the kinds of relationships worth investing in. When someone from your past reaches out, it can stir up memories, some good, some not so good. There's a natural tendency to fall back into familiar patterns of interaction, especially if this person once played a significant role in your life. These patterns may feel comfortable, even automatic, but they're not always beneficial. Often, old patterns can trap you in behaviors, dynamics, or emotional states that you've worked hard to move past. If you're not mindful, you might find yourself repeating mistakes or sacrificing your growth for the sake of familiarity. Avoiding this trap requires awareness, reflection, and intentionality. Old patterns are often rooted in the history of the relationship. They're the behaviors and roles you and the other person fell into over time, often without realizing it. For example, if you were always the one to compromise, you might instinctively start doing so again. If they were someone who dominated conversations or decisions, they might naturally assume that position once more. These patterns can reemerge without either of you consciously deciding to revert to them because they've been reinforced over time. The danger of falling into old patterns is that it can prevent growth. Both you and the other person might have evolved since you last interacted, but slipping back into familiar roles can stifle that progress. Imagine you spent years learning to set boundaries only to reconnect with someone who once ignored them. If you fall into the old pattern of allowing those boundaries to be crossed, all the progress you've made could feel undone. It's essential to approach these situations with the clarity and confidence of who you are now, not who you were then. Breaking free from old patterns begins with self-awareness. Take the time to reflect on the nature of your previous relationship with this person. What roles did each of you play? Were there dynamics that were unhealthy or unbalanced? How did those patterns affect your emotional well-being or your life as a whole? By identifying these patterns, you can recognize when they start to reappear and take steps to avoid falling into them again. It's also important to communicate your growth. If this person is genuinely trying to reconnect, they need to understand that you're not the same person they knew before. This doesn't mean you have to explain every detail of your journey, but setting clear expectations about how you want to interact can help redefine the relationship. For instance, if you used to avoid conflict with this person, let them know you value open and respectful communication now. If you once felt obligated to prioritize their needs over your own, make it clear that you've learned to prioritize your own well-being. Setting boundaries is a key part of avoiding old patterns. If this person had a habit of overstepping limits or taking advantage of your kindness, it's essential to establish and enforce boundaries from the start. Boundaries are not about shutting someone out, they're about creating a framework for healthy interaction. They allow you to engage with others without compromising your own needs or values. Another critical step is to observe their behavior. Have they shown signs of growth, or do they still exhibit the same tendencies that contributed to the old patterns? Actions speak louder than words, so pay attention to how they interact with you now. Are they respectful of your time and space? Do they show an understanding of the progress you've made? If their behavior suggests they're still stuck in the past, it's a red flag that engaging with them might pull you back into those old patterns. Trust your intuition as well. Sometimes you can feel when something isn't right. If interacting with this person brings back feelings of frustration, anxiety, or inadequacy, it's worth examining whether those emotions are tied to the dynamics you once shared. Your intuition is a powerful tool for recognizing when you're slipping into old habits or roles. Finally, remember that you have the power to redefine the relationship or to walk away if necessary. Not every connection is worth revisiting, and that's okay. If someone's presence in your life consistently pulls you into behaviors or emotions that don't align with your growth, it's a sign that the relationship might not be healthy for you. Walking away isn't about holding grudges or being unkind. It's about honoring the progress you've made and protecting your peace. Avoiding old patterns is about staying true to who you become. It's about engaging with others from a place of strength, self-awareness, and authenticity. When you approach relationships with intention, you create the opportunity for healthy, meaningful connections that support your growth rather than hinder it. Let the past inform your decisions, but don't let it dictate your actions. By recognizing and resisting old patterns, you ensure that your relationships, both old and new, are built on a foundation of mutual respect and growth. When someone from your past reaches out, the moment often comes with a mixture of emotions. You might feel curiosity, hope, anxiety, or even doubt. It's easy to let those emotions cloud your judgment, leading you to react impulsively or make decisions that don't serve your best interests. That's why it's crucial to decide from a place of strength, not weakness. Making decisions rooted in your values, self-awareness, and confidence allows you to maintain control over your life and protect the progress you've made. Deciding from strength begins with understanding your worth. When someone contacts you, it's natural to question why they've chosen this moment or what their intentions might be. However, before you even consider their motives, you need to remind yourself of your value. You've grown, learned, and overcome challenges to become the person you are today. That growth deserves respect, not just from others, but from yourself. By recognizing your worth, you create a foundation of self-respect that influences every decision you make. In contrast, deciding from weakness often stems from fear or insecurity. You might fear losing an opportunity for reconciliation, worry about being perceived as cold or unkind, or feel pressure to meet someone else's expectations. These fears can lead to decisions that prioritize the other person's needs over your own, or that compromise your boundaries. Acting from a place of weakness often leaves you feeling drained, resentful, or regretful because the decision wasn't truly aligned with your values or goals. To decide from strength, you must also take the time to reflect. Emotional reactions, while natural, are not always the best guides for making important decisions. When someone reaches out, give yourself the space to think clearly and assess the situation. What is this person asking of you? How do you feel about their contact? Does re-engaging with them align with the life you're building? Reflection allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Another aspect of strength is setting boundaries and sticking to them. Strength doesn't mean shutting people out or being inflexible. It means knowing your limits and communicating them with confidence. If this person wants to reconnect, they should respect your boundaries and your time. For example, if they pressure you for an immediate answer or push you to meet on their terms, that's a signal that their intentions may not align with your well-being. Deciding from strength means being willing to say no or take things at your own pace, even if it disappoints the other person. Strength also involves clarity about what you want and need. Sometimes, when someone from the past contacts you, it's tempting to focus entirely on their desires or intentions. However, your needs are equally important. What do you want from this relationship? Is there a way for it to add value to your life without compromising your peace or progress? By centering your own goals and priorities, you ensure that your decisions reflect your best interests. Another critical factor in deciding from strength is observing the other person's actions. Words are easy to offer, but actions reveal true intentions. Has this person demonstrated genuine respect, effort, and consistency? Have they shown signs of personal growth or an understanding of past mistakes? Strength means holding others accountable for their actions rather than accepting promises at face value. It's about requiring proof of change and commitment before giving them access to your life. Trusting your intuition is also part of making strong decisions. You often have an inner sense of whether something feels right or wrong. If the idea of reconnecting with this person fills you with doubt, hesitation, or unease, it's worth exploring why. Your intuition is a valuable guide, helping you navigate situations where logic alone might not provide all the answers. Finally, deciding from strength means being prepared to let go if necessary. Not every relationship is meant to be revived, and that's okay. Strength isn't about forcing connections to work, it's about honoring what's best for you. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness, it's a powerful acknowledgement of your self-worth and the progress you've made. If reconnecting with someone jeopardizes your peace, growth, or happiness, choosing to step back is an act of strength. In the end, deciding from strength is about empowerment. It's about taking control of your choices and ensuring they align with your values, goals, and well-being. When you make decisions from a place of confidence and clarity, you protect your progress and pave the way for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Life is too precious to be spent on choices rooted in fear or insecurity. By deciding from strength, you honor your growth, safeguard your peace, and set the tone for meaningful connections that truly enrich your life. Ladies and gentlemen, life will always present crossroads. When someone from your past reaches out, it's an opportunity to exercise wisdom and self-respect. Don't make the mistake of responding without purpose. Instead, take a deep breath, evaluate the situation, and decide in alignment with the life you're building. Because in the end, success isn't just about what you gain. It's also about what you refuse to lose. And your peace, your growth, and your future are worth holding on to. Make the right decision, and don't look back. Thank you.